Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Sports Today. There's a bit of a breaking news update regarding the Commonwealth Games. The T20I final, the women's T20I final, is taking place between India and Australia, and it's quite the interesting story if you have to look at it because it does raise a lot of questions. So let me just get straight to it. Tahlia McGrath, the Australian cricket player, she was tested positive for COVID-19 before the final actually started. So that was the reason why there was a bit of a delay in the toss. Remember, there was a delay and we had no explanation at first. But the main reason for that delay being in place was primarily that Tahlia McGrath had tested positive for COVID-19, and that after that there was a consultation between the respective authorities that actually decided to make a call on whether or not she should be allowed to play the match. In the end, as we know, she is in the playing 11. She has in fact started the match, but she has also had to take a lot of precautions in order to ensure that the virus doesn't really have that much chance of spreading. So let me just read out. There was a statement that was issued by Cricket Australia, and they said that we can confirm that Tahlia McGrath returned a positive COVID test for COVID-19. CGA clinical staff have consulted with the Commonwealth Games Federation, the results analysis clinical expert group team, and match officials, and they decided that McGrath will take part in the final. So basically, what was happened, and I'm just paraphrasing here, is that the symptoms were pretty mild, and she did actually test positive, but symptoms were mild, and the ICC actually had to approve her participation in the final. Now, it does raise a lot of questions as to what exactly would be the right call to make here, or whether or not this was the right call. Because you would think that if someone actually has tested positive, whether or not they have mild symptoms, major symptoms, or no symptoms, that they shouldn't under any circumstances be actually playing in a sporting event where, of course, you'd be surrounded by a lot of people, not just in terms of the players on the field, but also, of course, crowd members. So I don't think this is the story that we've heard the last of. I think there might just be more to come from this story. But as of now, this is the news update for all of those who are joining us. Is that Tahlia McGrath, the Australian all-rounder, had actually tested positive for COVID-19, but because she had mild symptoms, was actually given the go-ahead from the ICC, no less, to actually be part of the playing 11. So again, that raises a lot of questions as to whether or not this is something that should be happening. If you ask me for my personal opinion, or if you ask me for my 2 cents on the matter, I would say that given it was a positive test that was returned, the safe and sensible thing to do would have actually been to, not actually let this player be part of the 11. Kshitish Kumar, one of our commenters, is saying that the Australian team should be banned for this. I think it's a bit of a harsh call to make because it wasn't the Australian team's call. It was approved by the ICC. So if anything, this should raise a few questions as to what exactly was the process or the due diligence that was followed. And anime lovers asking, didn't they know this before starting the match? Yes, they did. The test result came before the match actually started. It was why there was a reason the toss was delayed. So I mean, I don't know exactly what. This is a bit of an interesting situation, and as I said, I don't think we've heard the last of this. There might just be more of a fallout from this story, especially if there are more positive cases that are reported. Remember, the COVID-19 virus or the COVID-19 pandemic as such, it might have receded as such, but there is no doubt that we're still very much living in COVID times, even though, people are more and more beginning to get used to living with the virus rather than just enforcing lockdowns and stuff like that. But it still seems like a bit of an unwise call to make, to let a player who is tested positive for the virus then be allowed to play with everyone else, regardless of how many precautions they are having at that point. The safe thing to do would be to not let the player be part of the 11. So I don't know what exactly the thought process was here, but nevertheless, you have to also remember that this was rubber stamped and approved by the ICC. They only could play Tahlia McGrath after they got ICC approval. So if anything, this raises a lot more questions as to what exactly the rationale and the thinking was in allowing a player who tested positive for the virus to be playing with everyone else. So that's it from this breaking news update. If and when there is more from this story that comes, we will be letting you know. But beyond that, as well as a lot of Commonwealth Games action still going on, there is, of course, even the India West Indies T20I, the final of the 5-match series that's also going on. So a lot of action still to come. Stay tuned to us. We will be bringing you all the live and latest sporting updates from whatever is happening around the world. So thank you for joining us. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Leave us a comment, tap the bell icon so you know when we're going live or uploading a new video for you guys. And of course, don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Last but not least, download the AajTak app for more such breaking news updates. Thank you all so much for joining us, and bye bye for now.